I want to touch on something called the OJS. I recently put something up on Facebook. Everybody's just going nuts over this sheet that I put up for the OJS Ride, which is kind of a checklist. The thing I'm going to explain about the OJS Ride is that there's two ways of looking at it. One is people will give you tips on how to beat the OJS Ride. Me, don't worry about trying to beat the OJS Ride, because all you're going to do is beat yourself. If you haven't had an OJS Ride, then you definitely better listen. If you're going on one, then you can still listen anyway. Let me explain the OJS Ride. The supervisor's with you. They're trying to get numbers on you so they can get more production, which is SPOR. I'll tell you what I think about SPORs. They're going to talk about your over-under. Here's the formula for that. Once again, I'll tell you what that is. What you need to do when you're out on your own is just work as if you have a supervisor with you. If you're drinking water, get your water. If you gotta go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. Do what you normally do. Pretend someone's always with you, because then when you are on the OJS Ride, just work the same way. Don't worry about trying to run and do whatever you have to. So the second part of the OJS Ride is this, is that it's not about beating the OJS Ride. For me, the OJS Ride is work the way that you want to work all the time. When the supervisor's with you, understand those 3 days they're with you, that ride is how they expect you to work all the time. Now, I'm not gonna sit there and tell you to go chat it up with customers and hang out. And if you're doing that on the road, then you know what, you better pretend supervisor's with you and cut that out, because they're gonna figure that out anyway. And I'm not gonna get into that, but trust me, they got enough numbers and all the telematics where they're gonna know where you're at, where you're hanging out, what you're doing. And trust me, when they get to the cameras and you wanna tell some story, then you know what, you're gonna have some problems. But what I'm getting to is this: work the way you normally do. If you go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom. If you gotta get some water, get some water. You know, if you talk for a second, you talk for a second, because you're growing the business. You're being the friendly driver, because that's how people decide who they're gonna ship with, whatever. The point being is that when you go out, be natural, do what you're doing that you normally would do with or without the supervisor, because after that, for those next 300 days, that's how they expect you to work. Now, if you're gonna sit there and run and be a jackrabbit, then they're gonna expect you to be the jackrabbit afterwards. If you work different than what you did in the OJS Ride, then that's when you're gonna have some problems. If you work differently on the OJS Ride than what you do without the supervisor, you're gonna have problems. So my point being is work as if the supervisor's always with you, so when he rides with you, it's no different. I never beat a ride. I went on a ride and guess what? My numbers always shook out the same. They were pretty much sometimes drop a little bit because they slow me down, ask me questions, so I gotta stop what I'm doing to answer the questions about safety, whatever. What they discovered is just leave me alone, let me work. My numbers always came out the same, and when they left, the numbers were the same, because I went out and did my job the normal way that I always do it. So my piece of advice to you is this, is work like you have a supervisor with you. When you're on the OJS Ride, act the same way, and after, act the same way, because whatever those numbers are, that's always gonna stick with you. And if you wanna go out there and be a jackrabbit and run, those numbers will always be with you. And I'm telling you, over a lifetime, and when you work with this company, there's no way in the world you're gonna be able to maintain those numbers. Have a nice day, and thank you.